learned from the lesson. Live in the hills, but I still get a spread. Started with a little, but I still reinvest it. Fear how I feel, then you feel like a blessing. I just want the lesson, I just want protection. I'm up and I'm down, but they sound like progression. Farmer never plans if he waits for perfection. Finger to the down, hold it down, we gon' get it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got your watch list coming in July 16th, 2020, and we are going to do something a little different today. I have a special S&P NASDAQ VIX analysis, and it is to explain why this really might be one of the craziest earnings seasons we might see. So I have an interesting story behind it. It has to do with what we saw today, but how things are setting up. Again, you guys have been paying attention to everything, but I came across an article. It seemed kind of tinfoil. I wasn't down with it, but then it had to do with emerging markets. And I was like, well, that's right up my alley. And then I looked at it and I was pretty shocked, and it kind of makes sense with what we've been looking at. So I still got the keys for you. We still got the plays. I'm going to outline my strategy. And again, today was even crazy after hours. All of the billionaires, some of the richest people in the world, even Apple got hacked. Even Kanye, got hacked on Twitter, and all their accounts posted a Bitcoin scam. So do not fall for that. Do not send them anything. But it was an interesting day. I want to look to make plays on there. But like I said, we got the keys, all that. The plays we're looking at tomorrow in this strategy. So I hope you're ready. Let's not delay. You guys know what you need to do. Drop your thumbs up on the video. Make sure you're subscribed. And if you don't know, we are live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open. It's the first link in the description, and it is pinned in the comments. We better see you there in the morning. It's free 99. It costs you nothing to join. YouTube.com/thestockmarket. You can post the plays, see the plays, and watch the watch list come to life. And you can meet a bunch of traders. Honestly, there's a bunch of cool traders. Long-term, day trade, option, everything is okay. We love you all. Just be nice, be positive, respectful. We love all of you. Good luck trading. Don't ever quit. Don't give up. I know I'm really corny, but you'll see. It makes sense. But right off the bat, we are not going to start with the keys. So here is the NASDAQ composite, and this is where it starts. So one thing to kind of pay attention to, here is the SP 500. You could kind of see the 100-day. We're actually going to pull it out here to a year. You could see how we kind of came into 2019, how everything happened with coronavirus. Now here is the VIX. So this is the volatility index, but now coming back to the NASDAQ, you can see here the NASDAQ is higher than where it's been at. So these are a lot of your tech stocks. These are Amazon, Netflix, Facebook, Google, all those companies. The growth companies are doing very, very well. You've seen what's happened with this economical shift with the virus. But now this is the biggest issue, because we've seen this be weird with earnings. Coming into earnings, the S&P is moving its own way. The last few days, really, you guys have seen it. The market kind of stayed the same, but this is what I was talking about. There were still big stock moves. That was the NASDAQ ripping up to all-time highs. So now this is where it gets interesting, because the correlation is between the NASDAQ and the height of the NASDAQ, and then how much it's moved in this period relative to the VIX. So pretty much what it is asserting is that right now, the stock market is just as volatile, or the pricing of it based on prices and what volatility indexes and hedges and all that stuff is showing, is that it's just as volatile. It's an emerging market. And we haven't really seen this too often. And that's where it gets interesting, because normally this would be a little bit crazy, but I do kind of agree with it when I look into it. So now you guys see here, if you look at the VIX on the 100-day, this looks like a normal VIX where volatility shoots up and then it comes back down. So I'm like, well, it doesn't make sense. But now let's pull the VIX back out. If you take a look, we're still at this level. Again, the VIX should dilute. It should always come down, but you compare it, we're still at some pretty high volatility points compared to 2019. So now this is where it gets interesting, because now let's get the NASDAQ up here, and then let's put up the VIX. I'm going to go a little further back, but this is essentially, I don't need to go that far back. We'll go 3 years, pretty much at the beginning of 2018. This was one of those moments where, remember, that's where I compared everything to in November, if you guys remember and were watching. But that was one of those moments where the NASDAQ was up, and this was one of those moments. The same ratio was kind of triggered, but there wasn't as much reasoning. Again, we have the virus now. This was just the financial situation. But you see it here. Eventually, the NASDAQ was so high, and then the VIX caught up and went crazy, though. So again, the VIX was still lower, but now the other moment we came close was 2019. But you could see pretty much almost every single time after these volatility events, the VIX would come down to a lower point, or the lowest point prior to the run-up. That has not occurred yet. And now the VIX is at a level that's around here, but now you have the NASDAQ higher than it's ever been. So the market is pricing in a ton of volatility. However, the risk on some of these events is huge. So now, pretty much with how we've seen the S&P move, and if this is, I mean, I have the keys for you now that it's going to lead into, but the idea here is that this earnings season really does have the possibility to be crazy, or we might see one big surprise. So now, what can you draw from this? What am I saying? Nothing really. The only real conclusion I could get out of this is that it will become risk on, or a lot of the problems will disappear once the VIX kind of deflates and comes back down, because that has really been the one thing we haven't seen. And it kind of reminds me of TLT in the bonds, but usually it would be coming back down, but you notice it's holding a level. But now with asset prices still going really high, this is changing a dynamic. So pay attention to the VIX, but then above all else, the fact that this ratio is kind of showing the levels of an emerging market, or even somewhat parallels, that means we could see a lot of volatility. And ironically enough, this volatility is being created at a time when we're coming into this earnings. So it could be next earnings season. I am often early with something, so I wouldn't be surprised. But this has caught my attention, and it was something I never really looked at yet this far. I haven't really gave the VIX too much attention. So the VIX not at all-time lows, with the NASDAQ at all-time highs. It's kind of screaming volatility, or it's kind of screaming that things are heating up a little bit. So something needs to budge, either the NASDAQ or the VIX. So that is what I'm going to be looking at. There is your special analysis. Hopefully that helps. But as far as everything else, like I'm saying, I think this is going to be a big earnings season. I would expect a big surprise from a company. So some company is going to have something. I think that is what I could expect. However, it could still be a big global risk-off event, or it's going to be, like we said, a company surprising the earnings reality check, aka the Grim Reaper, or something that will justify a risk-off event where one of these bigger companies, a big industry, takes a hit after earnings, and it's like, well, the market misjudged something. That is what could kind of set off the VIX or the NASDAQ, because again, right now, there's a lot of companies that are reporting, but the ones that have made the most moves, someone brought it up today. They're like, every single day this week, Amazon and Tesla have moved $100. That is part of the point. So a big move is going to happen. And it may not be this one, but I'm starting to feel it a little bit here. So I don't like feelings. Feelings aren't good. Okay, but watch that. Like we said, the VIX actually needs to drop before we are in the clear. So earnings is going to be weird. Don't get too aggressive. All this means is that we're going to get volatility. It doesn't necessarily mean that markets will go down. So I know a lot of people see this stuff. They hear it. They're looking at it. You really get in the mix. You want to buy a bunch of puts, but really it's going to be volatility. And that's what we are. We're in the midst of volatility. So what I'm starting to see is this could be an inflection point where we start to get kind of moves back potentially, but you need to be prepared and learn, especially if you're trading options. If you're investing long-term, you see the power, don't even look at it. If you're trading options, control the budget, understand how time premium works, because you can't just buy puts in this, and you could spend a lot of money, especially with the VIX this high. That means it costs money to play. So keep that in mind. The strategy moving forward, it's kind of even what I said the other day. I had the feeling now, I don't know if this could even be confirmation bias on my part. So keep that in mind. I don't want to be finding stuff and looking into it, but I was already expecting a big earnings season, but I'm going to be on the watch for the Grim Reaper. I kind of was looking at it last time, but I think that's how I kind of want to set up a majority of my plays coming into this. So I am pretty excited, and I hope you are too, but that is pretty much it. So let us get into the plays. So right off the bat, I have 3 different types of plays that we made kind of on all different fronts. One's a Grim Reaper. We got this play today. Amazon dropped. It was very weird. The premiums were awful. They dropped even though Amazon dropped 73 cents. So I said this is telling us something. I think it kind of even highlights what we got going on here a little bit, but I see that as an opportunity. Somebody asked the reason why, and the real answer is it's far out of the money. This is what happens when you are buying far out of the money. So yes, I do buy these mostly, and I understand that in the strategy, so you have to keep that in mind when you guys are looking to forecast the play or making a play with an expectation in mind. If you're trying to profit off a certain type of move understand the type of option or vehicle that's going to help you get there. So in this case, this is what I'm saying, Grim Reaper type plays, big run-ups, or we're trying to play the premium of people getting either nervous of the stock dropping coming into earnings, et cetera, et cetera. So that's what I have. We'll go over those plays. I think I might be averaging down on them. I don't know who it's going to be. It's going to be Amazon, Facebook, Apple, Google, Netflix. Again, big market caps are going to be the ones I'm identifying, but we'll go over that. The next play is Beyond. I grabbed this one. And this isn't even the final play. I'll tell you the final play. But I accidentally grabbed these. You can kind of see I started putting in different orders. I was trying to snake the chain. But what happened was Beyond got news. And they popped on it earlier today. They were, they did decent. I even said it. I'm not like, I don't know. I like this play, but I don't, just because when Beyond didn't break, it wasn't good. But you could kind of see if it was like a biotech in a way. It's burned a lot of premium. We have July 17th contracts, so they were getting clapped. All of the Beyond plays were down, so I was like, all right, I better get some of this. With sometimes it could cover earnings, but I spent too much. My E-Trade was being weird. So you guys know I put my orders in and cancel. I thought I canceled it. I pressed cancel. E-Trade was tripping out, but it pretty much double filled me, so I ended up getting 20. Usually, I just don't like putting in large amounts with some of these options. You guys know how I am, so I know how to manage and deal with these plays. Usually why when I make a mistake, I don't want to sell out, because when you're doing big quantity with options and then it's a liquid contract, because I did this on Disney the other day, the reason is there's slippage. So unless I'm like totally in a really, really risky position, if it has a decent amount of time and the stock is reacting to some level of news or has some movement with it, I don't want to instantly sell back out if I make a mistake or fat finger, because I'll usually lose money selling back on the bid. But that's the second play. I like them. Again, they got news. They're expanding into Brazil. So I think it's positive, them in global growth, and again, seeing them on the chart and how they're setting up into earnings. And you just know Beyond is one of those stocks that can move a lot. So the next play, and even then, like I said here, I will be trimming some of that because of the, I'm too heavy on it. That's because of the errors. So wanted to write it out, but I want to give it some time, but I am going to do it tomorrow. But if the play goes against me, I'm going to hold it through. So if I wake up and Beyond is going down, I'm not going to trim it. But if it goes up and I could sell for a profit, maybe even get the whole initial investment back, even better, that is going to be my plan. But just know my finger is going to be ready on the trigger with this, because I'm too big on it. And we've already lost a lot on Beyond, so I don't want to keep throwing money at a dead play. But I still like the opportunity. Finally now, this play I really, really like. We already have it. We have an old position. Oh, and I closed out that Tesla put. So Tesla people, I could drive my other car now. So screw you. I'm no longer betting against your supreme leader. Thank you for granting us passage. But we closed out of this. Nah, I love you all anyways. It's okay. I'm just messing with you. It's a joke. Okay. Can we all laugh? Can we laugh? Ha, 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 ha. Okay, good. But I closed out of that play. Remember, we sold this on Friday for $1,200. So I collected $1,200 in premium, waited to today. That contract was worth $200. So I bought it back to close my obligation. I keep the $1,000 net profit difference. And we are in the process of withdrawing all the cash from this account. I'm switching to TD Ameritrade. So don't make fun of my balance with how it's looking. But we have these old Twitter plays. So these, they look like they're down a lot. We have 100 of they have a lot of time on them, but I have these. I'm going to look for more plays. Pretty much why I'm showing you this, because I want to grab more Twitter puts on it. I want to get more time. Maybe we could go with some short. I might spread it out short-term and long-term on it, but I'm going to use this as a place marker to identify premiums tomorrow. So that's what's kind of good about this. This play will tell us a lot of information. So I like Twitter, the news that happened, and we saw this. This contract came up 50% yesterday. So it's probably going to move tomorrow morning. I like them, but it was a bad look today. All those people got hacked. It's not good at all, but I think it could be. I think it's a stretch. I'm stretching for sure, but we will find out. But it has some features, a Cambridge Analytica type scandal with Twitter. Why I'm saying that is because there was already a rumor almost instantly that this is coming from a third-party app that allowed people to schedule, or some people are saying it was a Twitter employee who got hacked, but the scheduling thing makes a lot of sense. That's how Cambridge happened. It's not the company's fault, but it's somebody who found a loophole, took advantage of it. All these people, famous people, have a scheduling tool for this, a social media manager. That app gets hacked, boom, it allows them to post it. So I believe that rumor. I think it has some legs, but I'm just drawing the conclusion that this could be some sort of scandal. But they even got Biden, bro. That's wild. So there is that. And then finally, I have this on the other chart. I see it moving up after hours, but we got this one right here, Box L. So this one's interesting. If you watch on stream, I grabbed 1,000 of these shares at 208. It's trading at like 3:30 after hours, but this is what I will tell you. My plan with it, most likely the best idea I think I'm going to be doing here is the minute I'm up 100%, I'm going to sell and then I'm going to hold it for a few months. But I did plan on holding this regardless. So I will be tempted to take my initial investment, but I'm not really fully sold on it. But why I'm even saying that is because this is a sketchy play. So it's sketchy in the VTech Nikolai sense, but also I pulled up a filing today on stream, pretty much the date to watch. I don't want to hold this by September 3rd. I believe they have a vote, and in that vote, they're going to be doing some stuff that looks like it could be dilutive. However, I explained, depending on the price of the stock, we will know if this really has gas in it, but this is sketchy. It looks like a pump and dump. It is an education play. I think they're trying to make it look like something. They're trying to make it look like a Zoom, one of these education rotation plays. Think about how Zoom's done. They're trying to make it look like a virus winning trade. Now, it could be a real company. Pretty much, I'm trying to explain to you, I'm trying to swing trade this. I'm pretty much treating this like a biotech, but it is sketchier because the biotechs actually have viability as a real company and product. I do not know about this company. I do not believe in it. I can't even reasonably research it like to the extent of the FDA, but it popped on some news of Samsung, them partnering with it. It looked legit. It has a small float. I know what these kind of stocks could do. Again, even kind of giving this vibe with all the biotechs and everything going crazy. I said, you know, it had potential. I've seen it before, but I like the education aspect. The thing I don't like is the history of the company and how it looks and all that stuff. So I will be tempted to get my initial investment back. However, we will see, but I think we're in a pretty good position for now, so we'll find out. But that was the final play. I picked those up today. As far as everything else, I did grab one Domino's 80 cents for this week. Very, very expensive. This was the only contract that met the criteria. They have earnings. I don't know if it was after hours today. No, it's going to happen tomorrow morning. So the calls, you can't play it anymore, so we got it today, but the calls are pricing in way too much. Again, they moved $70 on their last move. This was a big surpriser last quarter. So I was like, all right, maybe it does bad, but I grabbed that one put for 80 bucks. It's a 345, which I guess isn't that bad if you think about it. I mean, honestly, it's really not that bad considering the big jump they had, but it was still pretty expensive. That was the like cheapest, decent one. That play was within 2 standard deviations, but we will see. I wasn't really liking anything else on it, but watch them. Again, someone brought it up today. Very, very good point. With a lot of these plays, especially if it gets weird, like I just really didn't like the calls. They were too expensive. There's going to be continuation, so don't forget about that, and you don't have to hit the earnings. A lot of money could be made on the earnings run up. Don't play earnings and then play the continuation. You guys have seen that a lot, and it's very, very effective. So keep that in mind. Watch them, like we said, that box L. I want to just see it on this chart. Yeah, okay, that was good. I don't even know why. No news, but again, be cautious with this play. It is risky. And honestly, I mean, let me actually just jump back to this play for you guys to just get an idea of when you are in these and how to play these. Because again, a lot of people want to day trade them. Even the biotechs, it's the same strategy with the biotechs. When I buy any of these companies where it makes more sense to get shares or it is overall a sketchy company. Again, we thought the same thing with VXRT here. We're still up a decent amount, right? But it's still kind of sketchy. It was the same thing when we got the INOs. So you see, I've done this many, many times. I encourage you to not look at the share amount. Notice what I did with all of them. I started to scale up as we got more and more, but it had to do with the dollar amount. That's all I look at. And how do I play these? Strategy is very, very simple. I assume I'm going to lose 50% minimum. So when I buy something, that way I don't get shaken out because they're going to be volatile. You're going to watch them. They're illiquid. They're scammy. Or you just simply don't know, and anything could happen. You've seen stocks like Workhorse, and you'd never know. So let the balance, let the cash decide on it. Because now if you go in with a share amount or a dollar amount, you say this many shares cost this much, I'm expecting to lose 50%. You're not going to get surprised at moves. You're not going to get shaken out. I don't put a stop loss. Again, do what you want, but the idea is I'm not going to really get surprised. And then it's like, well, how do you know when to take these risks? Or if it's going up a lot, it's risky. Put an amount that you're okay with losing 50%. But the best part is it's equity. So that's why I say 50%, because then at 50%, you could decide to get out, or it's equity. You could hold it forever. Maybe it does come back, but that's going to be something you could decide there. So that's a little tip. Hopefully that helps. Again, back to the rest of the plays. Went over these again. Oh, I did a Netflix play today too. Crap. So watch Netflix. They're going to be reporting tomorrow after hours. I forgot I did this play today. You guys could see it. We made it free. It was pretty cool. So a little bit of profit here. Doesn't look like much, but this is what happened here in the morning. These are going for $1.62 to $1.70. Again, there was a lot of weird issues on getting filled this morning. I couldn't get filled on E-Trade, so I executed it here. But then it filled me. My average about 169. I bought 10 of these contracts, so I spent $1,500. And then I think about an hour later, as Netflix was going up, I was able to sell out of them at, I think, $270 a pop. But then I only sold 7 contracts. But you see here, I spent about $16.90, but then I got back $18.90. So I was able to get back $200 net profit, but then I have 3 free contracts for earnings. That is the goal. It's worth $500, not bad. But it's a weekly and it's like 3 standard deviations. So we'll see. Maybe I will probably flip out most of them, but one coming into tomorrow's report. But there was that play again. Watch them. Myrna. We're in the contracts. They did the biotech sell-off. Again, you guys have seen this a few times. I'm going to hold on it because, again, why does it do this? Because people's expectations kind of change, but then also the insider selling. Again, they're raising money to make this drug, so they use the stock. You guys, that's how it works. But watch them. I'm still holding Encino. We lost all of our gains. I'm actually down $800 on it now. Lots of Robinhood action today, man. Lots of, where is this? Man, I see down 689. So we had a lot of cushion. So again, do you see why I'm pretty comfortable holding this? But there was talks that they had a weird IPO, and it made me a little bit weirded out considering that they hit a ratio that I didn't really see for a long time. But I'm still going to hold them again. So what am I expecting? I'm expecting to lose 50%. It's the same exact thing with these IPOs when I'm buying shares like this. So keep that in mind. But I'm still going to be holding them. I think they'll be good. I just want a little bit more information before I make a decision. And I'm not really, I'm not really in a danger zone just yet, at least per what I was expecting. So watch them. Still holding those. Amazon's the ones I want. As far as puts, I still have old Intel puts, and what I mean by puts, the Grim Reapers. I think Facebook is going to be on the target. I'm going to be looking for them. Microsoft, remember, I already gotten these plays. I think I might add some more, so that's what I'm going to look for. Like I said, Twitter, I want United Airlines, and the airlines had some moves after hours on some of the news. It was pretty weird how it reacted about the layoffs, but I think they might be good to trade soon. There's a lot of different news, pops and drops on UAL, all the airlines, and even the travel stocks today. I think they're getting at a good point to trade. I haven't looked at the premium, so watch out. Then HD, I might grab a put on it because this thing is moving like it's in the NASDAQ, but it's not. I don't think HD is. But the calls were still too expensive for me. I'm going to be watching. I don't think we have a position yet, so watch them. And then finally, your TLT. Keep an eye on it, but at the same time, that ratio and everything I showed you with the VIX today, don't forget about that. So that is pretty much it. I hope it helps. I hope you don't get too jumpy. I hope you're ready for earnings. I hope your head has been in the game. I hope you've been learning from these lessons, and don't slip up and don't give into it. Don't let a slip turn to a stumble, my friend. But that is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you're hydrated, healthy, ready to go. Make sure you post your watch list. Make sure we see you there in the morning. I need the armor on. I need the helmet shining. I need you in the game, and I don't care about stocks anymore, baby. This is your challenge for the month. I challenge you to try not to hurt somebody or be hurtful. It's very, very difficult, but very, very simple. Think before you act. Think before you say. The cult loves you. I love you. I'm going to see you in the morning. Let's go.